I want to know what you personally thought of that first fake punt from Dan Campbell.
I mean, it's cojones, but honestly, what it is showing your defense that you respect them and you trust them, even though in that situation it didn't work. I mean, they turned around and gave up a touchdown, and how close this game was. Luckily, that didn't bite you in the ass, but it's something we've seen all the time. You can't sit down at a blackjack table and see a guy when it's when it's a 17 sometime hit or hit on a 17 every single time, and then get mad if another 17 comes out and you think he's not going to hit because of whatever reason.
Are you saying you like the fake punt?
Yeah.
I mean,
I kind of like it too.
It's not that honestly. It's not liking it or not. It's just that I'm not surprised by it because Dan Campbell, like, that's what he does.
Yeah, it's not like it's not like when the Green River Killer did his like 8th victim. It's not that I don't like it. I just wasn't surprised by it. Like, not everything that doesn't surprise you is okay. Like,
they won the game.
Well, I understand they won the game.
Yeah.
And this breakdown's not good because I love Dan.
Yeah.
I love, but foundational. If you fake something, you do it based on the element of surprise. There's a. But hold on. Can I finish?
Okay.
I just took a piss.
Okay.
The inflation effect of faking everything under the sun after a while. There's less of an element of surprise. Now you get that back in maybe teams on special teams being focused on the fake, and you getting hidden yardage on the return team or whatever it is. But that thing didn't shock anybody. To your point.
And this is playing devil's advocate. Is there any chance?
I don't even know why we need to play devil's advocate.
Is there any chance that those players on punt, they have an automatic fake read that they're maybe getting?
No, I mean, a lot of times there is an automatic
maybe sometimes
but not on the first punt.
What if the teams know that? What if the teams know that and bait them?
That's a call play.
No,
there's no
kill on special teams. You don't kill a punt to run a fake.
You do get permission sometimes with counts.
The upback does.
The upback can get permission, but not in that situation.
But
not to run that option.
Not that play.
Not that play.
Not that play.
No, and
I got you.
I was just going to say, like, moving on from this punt situation, we were kind of talking about what stood out from this game. I think the biggest thing to me that I kind of really liked from the Lions, defensively at least, is like, okay, obviously a heartbreaking situation with your best defensive player, Aiden Hutchinson, fucking murdered his leg, okay? How do you replace that kind of production? I loved how they came out and just blitzed the hell out of the Vikings. I thought that was awesome. I feel like that was a completely different game plan.
20 of 35, I think.
Yeah, like I got to look up the exact blitz numbers, but like they were bringing so much pressure and different pressure looks than they'd done previously this year, and I thought that was really cool. It's like they obviously understand that they're missing a key playmaker on defense, and they're trying to make up that production schematically, and I think that's a really cool thing. It just, to me, it's a testament of like their coaching staff understanding what their team is and how they get the most out of their guys with who they have available, and that's just good football. So I thought that was really cool. I mean, with their coordinators and their coaching in Detroit is like, as a former player, you kind of watch that. I don't know if you felt this way, Chris, but it's like, man, I would like that'd be a fun locker room to be a part of.
No question.
I'm sure that they play hard, they practice hard, they seem close, they're winning. You know what I mean? And it's like, it just feels like they are putting their players in positions to win. And like, that's really all you want as a player.
Well, you want confidence. And I think like right down to the quarterback, you think about Jared Goff, who, there was a time where I was arguing with people the other way. Now I'm arguing with you people that tell me he's like better than Josh Allen in the chat. I fucking love Jared Goff, dude. The fact that he's doing what he's doing right now is everything that football is about. It's about getting up off your ass when somebody counted you out. And, you know, when McVay said he's not good enough for me, he goes to Detroit and makes you know, I can remember when he played the Rams the first damn time. Okay, and people were like, oh, they might have something with this bridge. Well, no, he proved that he's a franchise quarterback twice. You know, most people get to the Super Bowl, you don't have to prove it again. He's a franchise quarterback, and he's the type of guy that, you know, whether you're like me and you think he's fringe, he's in the bottom half of the top 10, or you think he's the best quarterback in the league, like some of you folks in here. We shouldn't argue. I think we're on the same side. He's enough for Detroit to win. That's why I put them in the damn Super Bowl. And the way he's played the last couple of weeks, when the play action is humming, when you play Minnesota and coming in is one of the things we said, over the middle of the field, there's chunk yardage to be had. This guy ate him alive over the middle of the field in key situations. I mean, there's nobody. I'll give him this.
You're just talking about with how Flores runs his defense.
Well, yeah, with the way the backers conduct themselves in pass game when they're sitting in zones, and the way they can get manipulated and play action, and the way they leave the middle of the field open sometimes with some of the pressures that they run. I thought that Jared Goff is the perfect guy to exploit that. I mean, and when you watch him kind of fire some of these balls over the middle of the field late in the game, there might be nobody better at throwing the ball at the intermediate level over the middle of the field. And in that right, he is truly elite, because if you can access that part of the field, you see so many teams having trouble doing that. I thought this was just a great performance by him, but a really good job by the whole team. We said coming in, who's gonna have the lead? Like, that's gonna define this game, right? Let's find out. Dan Campbell saying, let's find out what happens when they're down. And you find yourselves 5 minutes in the game down 10 in one of the toughest places to play in America against an undefeated team because you faked a punt. Okay.
And a division opponent too.
And pressure was getting there early. Like the second play of the game, I think there's a hold. They bring heat. I think a 3rd and 3, they get Grenard on a hold. Like, they're punting the ball. They're fucking up a fake punt. Like, that is so hard in the NFL to dig a hole like that on the road and be able to claw your way out of it. But, like, he fits his team perfect. He fits what they do perfect, and that's why I have no problem if you want to say he needs to be in the MVP race. No problem. If you want me to say he's the best quarterback in the league, you're not going to get that out of me. You should probably stop watching the show. If that's what you need to be happy, you should stop watching the show. But I will tell you, he's perfect for this fucking team, and he's playing great ball. He's playing as well as anybody in the league right now. And, when they get the play action going, like I said, there's not very many people who are better at turning their back to the defense, coming around, accessing the middle of the field, working up in the pocket. He did that a couple times, edge pressure, little shimmy up into the pocket, deliver. I thought he was great, but the whole thing is, like, when you're down, that's not the game script that Dan Campbell imagined. All they did was 3 70-yard touchdown drives. Mm-hmm. Like, that is insane. Detroit Lions in the second quarter being able to do that, and Minnesota helped them, because I thought Arnold got a little nosy on the Aaron Jones touchdown, which, by the way, right after the fake punt, that's like most teams, they lose that game. Mm-hmm. You go on the road, you fake a punt, backed up, Aaron Jones right into the end zone, like, fuck, we're cooked. Not the Lions. They got that toughness about them. They go out in the second quarter and they put those drives together. By the way, another one of the touchdowns in the second, Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's a bust. So if you're Minnesota, you're walking out of this thing saying, hey, we gave them 2 touchdowns. Right? And that's how they're going to look at this game, is they're going to say, hey, guys, like, we're good enough to beat this team because we blew a couple plays on defense that we gave it to them in one play. But I don't agree necessarily. I agree they're good enough to beat them, but I actually would tend to side with Dan Campbell and what I imagine he's saying in the locker room right now, which is like, men, we fucking – you know what they did? I mean – I have a whole list of shit, okay? But the point is, you come out of this game and you give one of them on one touchdown on a short field and one on a Dave Montgomery fumble. Like I have a longer list of things that they didn't do perfect, but those 2 things, like you allow how many points in this game to the undefeated Vikings? 29 points in the game. 14 of them you can give them right back. You know, we spotted them 10 points. We still found a way to win. They came out in the second quarter and had 3 70-yard touchdown drives. The third one capped by a 3rd and 7 where Jahmyr Gibbs, who's not a fucking big guy, runs over Stephon Gilmore in the end zone.
He runs so hard.
They both run so hard. Everyone on that team plays so hard, and that's why I'm curious, like, I think we've talked about this before, like the Lions hangover effect, or like the opponent that they play, like how they fare the next week.
I haven't heard that.
Vikings have a short.
on
They
this
have a
show.
short week.
Bro, how are you saying? Oh, God, I can't. I don't want to interact with the chat on this
Yeah.
thing. Just don't want to do it. Just not going to do it. You guys think what you think. I think what I think. Again, like there's
Anyway,
there's,
it'll be interesting to see the Vikes on a short week after a physical game against the Lions.
Who do they play next?
Yeah. Hold on, I got one more.
Thursday.
Fuck it. Move on to the next thing. Who cares? I
No, I want to hear it. Get going, Chris.
No, I
Get
just
going. What do you got?
get
I want to
going,
hear it.
Please.
Come on.
What do you want?
Come on.
What do you want?
What are you looking at? We don't know what you're looking at.
No, I was just going to get to one more thing, which is the fact that Minnesota comes out of this game, and I don't think Gilmore played that well.
Oh,
Like Raymond, there was a drive in the third quarter where Raymond was killing him. Raymond on a 3rd and short, like dropped him. You had him on a 3rd and 9 too. He beat him there, and I thought Raymond also shook. This was a big game for Raymond. He had a quarter there where,
game.
I mean, he was beating Gilmore, and then he shook Murphy. I'm not saying it, but that's probably a touchdown if it's on target. So like, he really played well. So having him kind of, I mean, he's always made plays for them, but this was one of his better games of the season, has to be. And Gilmore on the other side, like not a banner day for him. I want to give you the Goff under pressure stats. 10 for 11 for 162 and 2 touchdowns. Gruden's gonna have a fucking freak out this week. Nicey.
I know there's no such thing.
11.6 yards per attempt under pressure.
A perfect 11 of 11 between the numbers.
That's it. In the
field.
middle of the field, he kills people. And Minnesota's got to get that shored up, because as good as they've been, they're gonna see these guys again. The minute they got the run game going, it was like, all right, we're gonna pick you apart in the middle of the field.
So, even though Minnesota lost this game, and there's no such thing really like in sports as a good loss,
Right.
but is this a good loss for them at this time?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the point I wanted to make was like they're walking out of this thing, and there's two ways of thinking about it. The Lions could be thinking about it like, hey, we spotted them 14 points.
14 points.
But Minnesota comes out of the game, and I thought we don't have if we're Minnesota, first off, KOC didn't call his best game. Justin Jefferson's got to touch the ball 15 times. Look at how close this game was. Look at in the middle of your screen, if you're on YouTube, how damn close this game was. And like in every way. These are two great teams. There's not one pretender, one contender here.
Good game.
They're two contenders. And I think you come out of this game, Minnesota's like, okay, we don't have Hawkinson. I would have thought they would have liked to get Detroit heavy a little bit more on defense. Like get the 3 linebackers in the game, get them in base a little bit more. You don't have as much versatility without Hawkinson, where you can do that and then throw out of it and get the matchups you want. I thought like Darnold played pretty well. I don't think you come out of this game and say Darnold played poorly. He played better than he played in London. So like if you see him again, I think maybe you let him rip a little bit more. Like I said, Jefferson touching the ball 8 times, 4 of them on 1 possession out of the third quarter, which by the way you scored on. That's got to be better. You'll get Hawkinson back. And I think just overall, like you come out of this game and you're thinking, we're pretty good. We lost to a damn good team. We blew a lead. We jumped them. We blew a lead. It's no big deal. They'll be back. Darnold did throw the pick. Brian Branch is like Hall of Fame talented.
Yeah.
Okay, that's an amazing play. But he did have somebody in the flat. It's second down. And then he probably wants the 3rd and 4 late in the game back where you could ice this thing. And you go to Jefferson and you're too high. So, I mean, they missed the 2-point conversion. That was big. We're parsing this thing. These two teams are going to play again once, maybe twice.
Yep.
And they're 2 of the best teams in the NFC. I just happen to think Detroit's the best team in the NFC. And that's what I thought coming into the season and watching this game. It's amazing how much better Detroit looks the last couple weeks than they did the first couple weeks of the season. And we'll see if that hangover thing continues for Minnesota.
I have a question for you, Chris. I was thinking about this. Vikings is coming off a bye playing Detroit. I almost would rather not have a bye week before playing the Lions. Like, do you think there's I don't know if there's anything there, but it's like you almost have too much time to sit and rest and wait on this physical, good, talented team. I'd rather just I'd rather have a bye week after.
I'd rather have a bye after for sure. If I'm faced with one of those two choices, they're really good. They're really good and they're really physical. They're like a fucking machine, dude. Also, a couple hidden heroes in this game. Amik Robertson. Robertson. Amik Robertson. I had it right the first time for once. they had him on Jefferson a lot,
Mhm.
and he did a pretty good job. There was a 3rd and 7 late in the game where they tried to get Justin open on a pivot route, and he's right there. And that's where Darnold's looking. I thought he did a great job. Also, Jack Campbell, stud. Aleem McNeil, stud, did a great job. Brian Branch, stud. There's plenty of guys on this team that don't get all the credit because you are looking at Goff, who had justifiably the gaudy numbers when he's on. Wow. And so I just hats off to the Lions, man.